Take a walk with me to the dark side, where the spirits are archived on the far side, shadows with dark eyes and creatures that tell lies. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Ghosts. I am your host, SunRayki. So, on this episode, I got my good friend Justin to hop on this podcast with me and tell me about all of his ghost encounters throughout his life, including the ghost that is currently in his house. Now, this episode we had to try 3 different times due to the first time it not picking up his voice. The second time we had microphone errors again with his side. And then the third time, before I hit record, I asked the ghost in his house if we had permission to record. Luckily, we did get the interview on the third try with the permission of his ghost. So here is his interview now. I hope you guys enjoy. Tell me about your ghost story. Take
All right, so take 3. Threats. 3 is a charm, supposedly. So, excuse me if I get timelines wrong because my brain's all fucked up over years and shit. So this is probably, I'm gonna say 3 to 4 years ago by now, maybe 2 to 3. Between 2 to 4, that's for sure. I'm going to school doing HVAC, and my class goes from 5:50 at night, basically 6 to 11, and I had to be to work basically 11:15. So I'd get out of school, I'd jam over to fucking work. I'd get to work and I'd work the graveyard shift. I was working at the Alzheimer's care unit, memory. Well, one night I'm sitting at the nurse's station, and in front of our nurse's station, we have on the other side of it, the blockade, we have 2 chairs with the kind of like a dresser, like I don't know what you would call it. It's not a dresser, but it's not like a nightstand. But anyways, it's something you put plants and flowers on. But in the chair on the left, there was this little old lady. I'm sitting there doing my homework for school because at night we only have like 3 different things to do 3 different times a night. It's real wham bam bada boom. It's pretty simple. And so I'm sitting there reading this paragraph, and I started hearing this whimpering, this crying of this little old lady. And so I look up, and there's this little old lady sitting in the chair, and she is wearing this robe that has little duckies, like bathtub duckies. I shit you not. Like, and she had a tissue in her hand, and her head was down. She had short blonde hair. And by the way, anybody who watches this, if you don't believe in ghosts, anybody who can detail their experience like that down to the hair and the way it was isn't bullshitting you. I'll tell you that because that just popped into my head out of nowhere because I never can detail shit like that from memory. But anyways, so yeah, she's sitting there with the tissue in her hand crying. And just because I have a heart, and that's why I was able to work in the medical field with older people who are dying, I said, sweetheart, what's wrong? I said, you're supposed to be in bed. It's the middle of the night. And she just whimpered and didn't say anything. I said, sweetheart, what's wrong? Are you okay? Well, I only had about 2 sentences left in the paragraph, maybe even 1. I can't remember. I know it was real quick, though. And so I look down and I read, and it's less than 10 seconds it had to have been. And I look up and she's gone. And if anybody knows anything about older folks in old folks' homes, they don't move very fast. Your day goes pretty quick chasing them motherfuckers around. And so the only old lady in this building that it could have represented, I ran to her room, and I didn't burst the door open, like bust it open, but I pushed the door open a little bit, and I looked at her bed, and she's passed out, knocked out and asleep, wrapped up in her blanket, and there's no way possible that she could have got to her room that quick. I ran around this entire memory care unit probably 3 to 4 times that night within a matter of 5-10 minutes, something like that. and there's nobody awake other than us caregivers and the nurses. There's nobody. And so, yeah, that was, and she was as real as you could be sitting right in front of me in a chair, and that's how real it looked. Like, I had no thought in my mind that it was a ghost until she disappeared so fast. And I was like, there's no way. There's no way.
So a thought just came to me because you said you thought it was a lady that was still alive living there.
There was
What
one lady who it looked like, and that, yeah, and the lady that it looked like, I ran to her room and she was asleep in her bed,
what
not
it,
even a robe on or nothing.
I almost wonder if she like was astral projecting.
I don't think so because astral projecting isn't your body in a sense like that form. You go into the atmosphere. You don't really become
A
a
form.
physical form. Yeah, a form. You're more transparent. You're more
Mm-hmm.
um you separate your being, I want to say. It's how I feel in the way I've seen it explained and shown to the world. I've never really seen anything solid like a form from astral projection.
Mm-hmm.
Um, only thing I can think of is that it was somebody who lived there previous. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the only thing that makes sense to me because it's not like an old person can double themselves. Oh, that's what I'm going to be because I'm going to die in 36 hours. Like it doesn't work like that. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So yeah, that's the only thing I can think of. In this same building, the second interaction, and these aren't the first two. I just remembered last night thinking about all this shit, sis. I have two that are gonna fucking rock your socks off you.
I can't
That
wait.
are even that are even more, just as prevalent as these stories I'm telling you. So the second one that happened in the same building, I was sitting at the nurse's station, probably bullshitting on my phone or something. Well, in every room, because they're old people who are fall risks, they have motion sensors by their bed. We have a motion sensor light board right by the nurse's station. So I hear this motion sensor go off. So I get up, and the other nurses and caregivers are doing some shit. I'm the only one around. So I go down there and I open the door and I look to the left, and the lady's passed out asleep, practically snoring. I look at her roommate, and she's knocked out, mouth wide open, drooling probably out. So I look in the bathroom just to be safe. You know what I mean? Because old people who lose their mind will roam and walk the whole building like it's their room. So I check the bathroom, nothing. I turn around to grab the handle of the main door in their room, and it's still kind of hard, even hard for me to believe. I mean, as real as I can tell it, and as real as it is to me, it's kind of bullshit to even tell the story, to be honest. But I grabbed the door handle and I turned to look, and this transparent head like Casper popped out from the and I shit you not, popped out from behind the door and went boo. Scared the living shit out of me. I jumped, slammed the door, was like, yeah, I went to the nurse's station for the night, and the only time I moved was to do rounds. Didn't help a shit for the rest of the night. Yeah. But after, I mean, so these two shouldn't even have had to take those the second two to make me realize that the shit's real. I was just in a bad place back then. It was many, many years ago. It was probably 10 to 15 years ago. I was on drugs, homeless, etc. But the paranormal shows I've been watching recently have been explaining that the more tired you are and exhausted, the more, well, on top of that, my ex used to be able to speak to the other side and see the other side. And I do believe partially that to a point, I'm not going to say completely, and like she can't make me talk to the dead, but I do believe that type of shit rubs off on people, especially if you're a significant other. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so, yes, the drugs were involved back then, but this was deeper than that. Because even when I was away from her and I was fucking around then, I didn't see no shit like I did this with her. So we were homeless and we had gotten enough money for a hotel room one night. And we're laying in bed, just laying in bed like a normal couple. I had my arm out. She was laying on my arm into my chest, and I was sitting there watching the TV. All of a sudden, I look up at the ceiling, and my head starts doing this. Can you see me?
Mm-hmm.
My head starts doing this, and she looks at me and she goes, "You can see them, can't you?" Little fucking solid black figures that look like Smeagol from Lord of the Rings. I shit you not. I shit you not. Crawled on all four, and there was thousands, if not millions, of them crawling on the fucking ceiling. And
Wow.
I'm just sitting there. And I'm just sitting there, fucking just watching.
That sounds dark.
It's
Like,
hard to explain. It's hard to explain this without sounding stereotypical and racist to a point. In all honesty, you have to understand where I come from, Southern California. Okay, there's a lot of Hispanic Mexican families. Okay, like really from Mexico,
mm-hmm.
and in Mexico, they do a lot of black magic
Mm-hmm.
in which shit. Okay, so it's just her family was gangsters, high people. Will just put it down. You get the picture, and just her immediate family, her brothers, sisters, her mom, her parents were both ordained pastors, but it was her mom's family. She was the sister, and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the uncles, the theos, and you get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it outside of the immediate family, it wasn't a good family. So there was always a dark
Mm-hmm.
hurt to her. You know what I mean? And it just with me doing drugs and being on the streets, that didn't help either. You know what I mean? Trauma, breaking yourself down, it all adds to it. Because with that, that's normal.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You learn to live with that. They're there and they're always going to be there as long as you're. So when it really is shadow people, or you hear people talk about shadow people, it's fucked up. First thing that comes to my mind is put the fucking dope down. But I have to take a step back, you know what I mean? And be like, you've seen this shit without the dope.
Mm-hmm.
So shut the fuck up and check yourself. Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah. This one probably is. This is. I have two more actually that I can really remember. I can't really. And this other one just popped into my head as I was talking about all this. I really can't think of anything else significant as real as these, as in documented for myself. You know, I mean, her parents would let us go stay there with the kids for 2, 3 months at a time because they were pastors and they didn't believe in the whole "oh, you're not married" thing, so you're not sleeping together. Her mom made me sleep on a cot, like an old military cot, in the kitchen. I'm laying there one night on my back. And just to clarify, before anybody says anything, this is sleep paralysis. What I'm about to explain to a point is sleep paralysis. There's nothing else that what scientists would call it, but we know different.
Okay.
I'm laying there, and out of nowhere, I look at the foot of the bed, and I have the blankets probably up to here. Okay, and I'm just laying there like this. I look down at the foot of the bed, and as the room is getting darker, I mean, currently darker, I see this big masked figure. It had horns, and that is what scares me about that because everybody that talks about demonic shit and seeing demonic shit has horns. I hate hearing about fucking horns. It takes me back to seeing them. So while he's still a big black mask, he's solid black, not even see through, okay? And then all of a sudden, almost like a holographic, like a fucking flicker, he flickers into this like big fucking matador looking thing, but evil as fucking. His eyes are red as a fire engine. Now this is gonna sound kind of funny. Most I would laugh at somebody if they said this. In all honesty, it's kind of stupid, But I don't know if you know remember the band Sugar Ray from back in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the dude with the blonde hair,
Yeah.
his name's Sugar Ray Leonard or some shit like that. Anyways, he's a talk show host now. Anyways, it looked like him. I swear to God, it looked exactly like him with black spiked hair, red fire engine eyes, and not even like eyes. Just they look like when you put a light to your finger in the red
Yeah.
that it shines through. Okay, it looked like that, but dark. Okay, but it had the lightening up on the outside part of it. He had a black suit on with a fire engine red tie, and he was flickering back and forth between this guy who looked like Sugar Ray and the fucking Matador demon looking thing. Okay, and I'm fucking laying there. And you can believe me when I say this next part or not. Most people won't, and I don't blame you until it happened to me. This is where my body levitated. So I'm looking at this fucking thing, and I shit you not. My body lifted. I did a 180 and fucking landed on my stomach. Okay. I grabbed my fucking pillow, and I don't think I have ever squeezed anything tighter, harder in my life. Like every muscle in my upper body was just squeezing the fuck out of this pillow. The only thing I can remember, and this is what's going to creep you out. Literally, the only thing I can remember is saying the words, Jesus, help me. And just as simple as I said that, everything went away.
Mm-hmm.
Just dissipated. I said, Jesus, help me. And I didn't even see it dissipate. I felt the energy leave. But what I did feel was, I told you I was squeezing that fucking pillow. And I said those words. And as soon as I got done saying, Jesus, help me, my muscles started fucking retracting.
Mm-hmm.
And I started being able to breathe. And I looked up and I leaned over. I don't tell a lot of people that shit because they're like, you're fucking crazy. But I'm pretty sure I've either seen a like legitimate, official, jumped in the hood like demon or Satan his fucking self.
Well, I definitely believe you 100%. And during sleep paralysis in the paranormal community, we call them sleep
I couldn't, I
demons.
couldn't, I couldn't scream either, and that's another thing is
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't sit up because all I could do is literally look up. That's
Mm-hmm.
all I could do. I couldn't fucking physically sit up.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what scared me is that I couldn't do that. And then my body just fucking,
Yep. So, are you religious?
no, I am not religious because I fucking hate religion.
Were
Okay.
you religious when this happened?
Partially. I was going back to church and yeah, yeah.
So, I have this theory about demonic entities. I believe that they're man made energies. Like we manifested them through our negativity and our fear. And that's why it feeds off of negativity and fear. And the only kryptonite to a demonic entity is anything that has to do with God or Jesus or Christianity or holy water, is because that is an entity that's based off of that religion. Do you see what I'm saying? So, like, people who are not religious and don't believe in that religion can still look at that demon and say, in the name of God, I compel you back to hell. And because you say that, it's that demon's kryptonite. So it's going to disappear. It doesn't matter who's saying it
See,
and what
hold,
beliefs they have.
I that part I personally disagree with you on. There is a reason why we have demonologists and priests and pastors. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
they have gone through certain training and have fucking and this is more than just it's hard to explain and I don't want to offend anybody,
You're
but
not
like
going to offend me because I'll tell you that. And
and
a lot of our
no, I just
listeners would
just
know.
please don't take this the wrong way. Okay,
Go ahead.
those kind of pastors, it's more than just doing a class like online or some shit. You know what I mean? And getting a certificate. Like it's from everything that I was raised learning about Catholic priests and fucking shit like that. There's a reason the Vatican's the fucking Vatican,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a reason they hide the exorcisms from us, and we're not supposed to see them.
So you know me as being a Reiki master who is not
Yes, I do.
religious, has the ability and the tools to exorcise people and homes.
And I believe that 100%.
So it's like you know, I don't think anybody off of the street could do it, but somebody who
That's what
is
I'm saying.
tapped into it and has the education and the wisdom and the know how to
Yes.
can do it.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Everybody nowadays seems to think they can just say, "Oh, in the name of the power of Christ compels you."
Hmm.
The only thing I think of when somebody says that is fucking the movie In the End when Jonah Hill. Oh yeah, does it? Does it compel me, Seth? Does it? When fucking Jonah Hill's a zombie. Fucking yeah. So shit like when you have to start getting priests and fucking demonologists, like I don't know because I've never really been on an investigation yet. I want to so bad, and there's one here in town. I just haven't been disciplined enough to save the fucking money to go to it. Like I want to go to it, like a dumbass. But um, yeah, I really want to get into investigating. Like real shit. I've been watching Jack Osborne and what's her fucking name? Kate Katrina?
I don't know.
Portals to Hell.
I haven't seen that.
It's a good fucking show. Yeah, they really get some good fucking evidence on there. You'd be impressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm getting into it a little bit by bit. Like I have a cat ball and an EMF reader, and I have some ghost apps on my phone, and then honestly, just my own abilities is a tool. It's just I never have an opportunity to do it. Like if people have a haunted house, they don't want to tell anybody, so I never know. And I don't have the money, nor do I want to pay hundreds of dollars to go investigate with 20 other people because I feel like the ghosts aren't as prominent when there's that many people.
It depends. I've been seeing a lot of episodes lately, different places they go investigate, and like some of the spirits, like they like to fuck with people.
Yeah,
They
I
like to
do
fuck with
believe
people.
that.
Yeah, like one of them, fucking, they would make a noise, and they would go down there to investigate, and the noise would be on the other side of the fucking
Mhm.
upstairs, and then it would go back, and then all fucking night they'd just be going back and forth.
Make them run around. Yep. Okay, so
You,
tell me about the ghost in your house.
oh shit, I forgot we even left that the fuck out. Wow. I'm sitting on my bed and I look down the hallway, which is the door that goes to the backyard, to the laundry room. And so we keep the back door closed, of course, but the laundry room door we keep open. Well, I'm sitting on my bed watching TV one night, and all of a sudden I look to the left for some reason, and I see this black mass out the corner of my eye in the laundry room. Well, of course, when you see it the first time, it's always a second take. Always. You never just see some shit and no, bam. You always have to look back. So I look back, of course, and I felt as if my aura was being drawn to the laundry room for some odd reason.
Hmm.
And I've only felt this two or three times in my life. One of them was actually with my ex Diane and her son. I'd sleep in his room sometimes when his mom would sleep in the living room with the other boy, with David, and I'd be laying there on the cot and looking in the corner of the fucking room. And once again, he looked at me and he asked me, "You can see him, can't you?" And I looked at him. I said, "No, but I should have fuck feel something in that corner
Hmm.
because I feel it." And so yeah, that night I felt something drawing me to the laundry room. Of course, I didn't go. I kind of got creeped out. I'm not gonna lie. But when you had this many experiences, I mean, as real as I've had them, I know by now. I know, and ain't nobody gonna tell me anything different. You know, what I mean, I can tell when it's real or when I'm psyching myself out per se.
Yeah.
Um, that same night here in my house with that ghost, whoever the fuck it is, I looked out the corner of my eye yet again, but this time it was more towards the kitchen, which is a farther span, and I seen a light as bright in my eye as a cop shining his mag light, bam, right in front of your face with his mag light. And so when it flashed, I looked back towards the laundry room, and it was dark, and I could see the kitchen as well. Well, it scared me so much that for probably about a good 10, 15 minutes, I kept staring back and forth between the kitchen and the laundry room, um, hoping somebody would pop out with the flashlight.
Hoping it was a real person.
Yeah. What's up, sissy? What you got to say?
I'm sorry, I'm
Oh,
over here. I'm not even
what were
listening.
you looking at then?
Oh, my cat. She was clawing at the
Oh,
window.
I thought I heard sissy talking, and then you looked up, and I was, that's
Yeah,
funny.
but
I
if
was like,
you're
don't freak me
hearing
out like that.
voices, that's really creepy, and I can't wait to listen to back to see if we picked up any EVPs.
Do you think phones are good enough to do that shit?
Yes, so I actually heard this thing recently, and it's another tool that mediums will use to go and investigate houses. So what you do is you take a cell phone and you
Okay.
call somebody else's cell phone in the group, and you put the phone on speakerphone and you leave it in the house, and you all go outside. And once you're
Okay.
outside, you start to talk into the phone, and you'll start to hear responses through the phone line. So, this one story I heard, these people did that. And when they went outside, they were asking, is there a ghost here? And they could hear like the electricity on the phone, like the static, like it was normal. And then it would go bzzz, really high every time they would ask a question. And then
Okay.
finally they were like, are you trapped here? And it did it again really, really loud. And then they asked it, do you want to be let free? And they heard a voice clear as day say, yes, please.
Okay, I need you to do something for me, sis.
Yeah.
I need you to watch that show for me. Portals to Hell with
Okay.
Jack Osborne, Ozzy Osbourne's son. He also brings on that Christy chick who goes with Prozac.
Yeah, I love her.
Fine as hell. Fine as hell. Anyways, so is that other chick that he has on this show, Portals to Hell. But they investigate so many places first. Like, okay, so they do Bobby Mackey's Music World. I'm sure you know what that is.
Bobby Mackey's. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. One of the most haunted places in America. They go there. They find out that there's three portals there. There's three portals within Bobby Mackey's, two upstairs and one down in the well. Okay. Now, yeah, that's how bad that episode was. They also do God, they do so much shit. They do this house in Pennsylvania that hold up, I see a spider. Ain't no way it's getting on my bed. You're tripping, dude. Sorry.
My bed.
Yeah, I kill a spider when I see a spider. Okay, Swiss Holmes. Anyway, so yeah, they do this house in Pennsylvania, and this house has been reported to have suicides, witchcraft, and they ended up turning the house into a haunted house, an actual haunted house. Well, the previous owner, who I don't remember if she killed herself or not, but there's one person who's buried on the property still,
Mm-hmm.
and Jack has some of the most clear conversations, like with the, and that's what I'm starting to learn to hate ghost adventures so fucking much.
Thank you.
So much. They are so fucking fake. Like, if you watch these other shows and they have one or two devices, and yet Zach's fucking taking 2 days to bring in his command center. Like, get the fuck out of here, bro.
Zach is
Like,
so fucking phony, and like
dramatized and
all the stories I've heard about him, he is there for the fame and pussy. That is
oh, of
what he's
course.
there for. He doesn't care
And
about the spirits. He doesn't care about the people he's investigating for. Like, he doesn't care about any of that shit.
can you imagine how much poutine he's getting off that shit?
Probably a lot.
Probably a lot.
Girls are
Probably a lot.
vulnerable when they're scared.
Well, I guess he has something to fill him. So yeah, but yeah, I'm starting. So Nick Goff, who's on Ghost Adventures, has his own show now. It's called Paranormal Lockdown, and he has some chick with him and some other guy, I believe. That's a pretty good one. I've been watching that a lot lately. But Jack's show, there's some shit on that show. that fucking evidence that. So they have evidence looking down a hallway at an asylum.
Hmm.
Well, there's a fire hydrant and the tape on it's reflecting. Well, nothing can block the reflection of it in the camera. They try to debunk this. They have clear footage of that light blacking out for literally a second and then coming back,
Like somebody was standing in front of the light.
like moved in front of it. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. They have lights that are swinging and there's no wind whatsoever in the room. Like,
Wow.
yeah, this is crazy.
So you should check out YouTube. I've been watching Selena Spooky Boo and Chris do investigations. You should check them out. They're really funny, and
Are they gonna be hunting for ghosts and doing their nails and
no, they hunt for ghosts, and they're just like, have you ever heard of Selena Spooky Boo? She does those like sleepwalking
I
videos.
I I I would no. I would run from somebody named Selena
She
Spooky Boo.
she's fucking hilarious. She like you just gotta at least give it a shot and watch her.
Is she like one of those TikTokers?
Yeah.
All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you would like to be on the podcast, please shoot me an email at letstalkghost22@gmail.com. I would love to interview more people, have more people's videos and audio recordings telling me their creepy ghost stories. If you like this video, please, please, please hit like so that I know that you guys are enjoying it, and subscribe to my channel. Seeing those interactions from you guys is what keeps me going, makes me, lets me know that you guys are interested in this as well. So make sure you like and subscribe and give it a share with some of your creepy friends. All right, you guys, I hope you all have a spooky night and keep it creepy. Bye.